Hello, Ben. How are
Hello.
you?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Gare. You?
Yeah, really, really good. So, tell me,
That's
which
good.
part of Australia have you dialed in from today?
Northern Victoria, Shefferdon,
Excellent,
Australia.
excellent. And just so that we can give some context to our viewers and our potential members, a little bit about yourself, Ben, like how long you've been a member with us, and particularly, yeah, like what attracted you to shares in value.
I've been with Shares and Value about 2 years, roughly. I think it was Ricky that spoke to me, and he sounded quite interesting. So once I investigated the Shares and Value offering
Mm-hmm.
and what they could do for me, it did create some interest for me, and so it wasn't a super expensive investment. So I decided to give it a go.
Ah, brilliant. And that's nearly 2 years ago now, is that right?
That's about right. Yeah, nearly 2 years. Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, a little bit more about like joining us and speaking to our account managers, right? So, what particular
Yep.
aspect of the membership did you really, I guess, exploit to your advantage to leverage your and enrich your investment journey?
Yeah, yeah. Probably that the feature that I like the best is when they come up with a stock idea or stock ideas,
Mm-hmm.
they'll give you an entry price or
Yes.
thereabouts, and then generally an exit price or a sell
Mm-hmm.
half price. So you've got an idea when to get in, when to get out,
Yes.
when to take your profits, and obviously sometimes when to take your losses if you've incurred a loss. Sometimes no point holding on to them either. So yeah,
I
yeah. So
see.
that's what I like. That you've got an idea what a good purchase price is or a buy price, and what a good
Excellent.
exit
Now,
price
I
is.
have heard that Whitehaven was one of them. So, do you want to run us through the
Yes,
process of what actually happened from the buying through to the holding and
sure,
then through to obviously
sure. Well,
disposal?
I subscribed to I subscribed to a couple other information services, and Whitehaven popped up on
Okay,
three of the three that I subscribed to, which was good.
excellent.
And so I got an entry price
Mm-hmm.
at I think it was around $2.20 or 30 or something like that. And then generally the target price is somewhere around $10, $11.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was able to make four times my money in about 14 months, I think, on Whitehaven, which was good.
That is tremendous. And so, was there like a particular day, or do you remember when you received the sell signal from Shares in Value that helped you transact immediately?
It was more that the target price was, say, between that $10, $11 mark. So I started selling out 25% when it hit about 9.50, 25% around $10, 25% around 10.50, and then I got rid of the rest around $11. So I sold into the rising market,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so it was good, and then it
You
dropped
know,
back after it. So
a very wise mentor once told me also that nobody ever gets poor taking profits off the table.
exactly,
So
exactly.
you sound very disciplined here, Ben. So okay, so
Yep,
with Whitehaven, you obviously sold into a rising market. I also heard
yep,
that you did really well on Seven Group as well. So do you want to run me a little bit through that
yep.
transaction?
Yeah, sure. Seven Group's a company I would never have considered. I
Okay.
knew about it, but I didn't know much about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I spoke to Ricky on this one, and he said it'd be a good opportunity. So we got in somewhere around the $22 mark on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to him the other day, and we made a good profit on it. So about
Mm-hmm.
60% in, again, the 18 months or so.
Wow.
So he suggested to take some of the profit, leave money in as it's still a good company, but to take some out to sort of rebalance my portfolio. So I did that on Friday. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm just waiting for another couple of opportunities to pop up and have a look at them.
Wow. So I have to say, Australians have this love affair with housing, but 60%, I don't think you make that growth in a few years in any Australian housing, right?
No, not for just pushing a button twice. No.
Pushing a button. And how much connection or how much contact do you have with our account managers on, let's say, a weekly
Uh, some,
or fortnightly basis?
sometimes a little bit, sometimes not a lot. So if they've got some ideas, they'll give me a ring.
Yep.
So I'll have a look at the website and have a look at what they're selling.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, I tune into the webinars and have a listen.
Yes.
And I don't necessarily act on all the ideas that they come up with, all the recommendations. So I sort of make my own mind up. So I just use shares and values recommendations
Mm-hmm.
as ideas to consider. And if I think
Yep.
it's a good idea or a good story, I'll jump on it. And obviously there's some that I've brought that I haven't made money on, so that's normal. And I accept that as part of investing, that you can't win them all.
But would it be fair to say immediately that you've already had a clear return on investment by being one of our members for the last 2 years?
Oh, definitely. Seven Group, well, it's really paid. So I took a 5-year membership because it was going okay. So Seven Group
Yep.
profit definitely paid for that plus.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the wins have outweighed the losses by a substantial amount. Yeah.
Excellent. And tell me more. So I think there was one more that comes to my mind. Is it ResMed that you also had a pretty you had a good gain on?
Yeah, brought some ResMed recently and a bit of weakness, so that's starting to rise up. So again, talking to Ricky on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
he's given me an idea of a target price, and it's not quite there yet. So I'll just keep an eye on what the ResMed share price is doing, and as it gets closer to that target price, I'll take some profit on that one too, hopefully. So yeah, I'll just
Excellent.
go be a bit of patience sometimes.
I really, it sounds like you're very disciplined and you have a really strong framework by using shares in value and then still listening to your own and following your own fundamentals. Um,
Yeah, and where that comes from for
mm,
anyone who's listening is I used a financial planner up until the GFC,
yes.
and we're using margin lending, and I wanted to sell out because I'd
Hmm.
made some money, and I just thought it was the way to go. And the financial planner advised me not to on numerous occasions, and that cost me an awful lot of money. So since then, I educated myself on money,
Hmm.
and I make my own decisions on what I do with it.
Excellent. And I guess, how do you not overstay a hold that when shares in value or any of that we advise is
Yeah.
target price has been reached and it's time to move on, that you don't overstay your welcome?
I guess that's they'll give you a reason why they think it's run its course,
Mm-hmm.
and so if that makes sense to me, I will act on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some which I've held. So I've held a company, CSL, for quite a long time, for probably
Yes.
15 years,
Yep.
and
I
that's one that
can.
on any weakness I'll generally buy it. So yeah, I haven't sold it. So
Okay. And how do you normally how do you, I guess, maximize our membership for people who are listening? Because we have multiple channels. We have our
mhm.
email reports, we have the personal account manager, we have the webinars. We so how which tranche do you prefer?
The email reports is
Hmm.
probably first.
Yes.
The phone call from the account manager second,
Hmm.
and the webinar third.
Excellent, thank you for naming them. And one more, if you are now speaking to potentially a new member, um,
Mm-hmm.
and they're on the borderline of joining us, being part of our community, what
Mm-hmm.
would you say to them through your own experience now?
I think the recommendations generally that they make sense in most cases. Some of the more speculative ones,
Mhm.
you've got to be aware that they are speculative ones. But some of the ones that are more solid, say like your Seven West Group and your Whitehavens, like they're not small companies; they're quite large companies on the ASX.
Yep.
And yeah, the recommendations with the entry price and exit price makes it easy to then be disciplined enough to just follow what they're saying
Mhm.
or what they're recommending. Sorry, and yeah, so get in at the right price and get out at the right price, and you make some money at the end of the day, which is great.
That is excellent. We don't like to fence sit, as you would have noticed, Ben.
No, no,
Um,
I think that's
and
good. That yeah,
very
if it's
quickly, I did have someone tell me through Grapevine, you are very connected to strong sporting icon in Australia. Am I right?
Maybe.
Mm,
Icon. I don't know. Who would the icon be?
you're connected to like a very, very famous AFL footy player, aren't you?
Not famous. My son played for an AFL team, and so did my grandfather, but I was never any good. So
Okay, so you're connected to a very strong lineage of sporting history in Australia, because that
yeah,
is,
you
you
can
know,
say that. Yeah, yeah, you can say
perfect.
that. Yep,
Thank you.
yep.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Ben. I really enjoyed our conversation, and thank you for giving us some concise and precise insight to how you maximize the membership and how you use it, and all your kind
Yep.
words as well.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you.